station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Sports Zone.
Last night, the long ball was the story as Atlanta and Seattle met for the first time in 3 years. The Braves took an early 4-run lead, but the Mariners stormed back and took Game 1 of the series. Today, they meet again less than 14 hours later for a business fan special at high noon in Hotlanta. It's another warm, muggy afternoon in Hotlanta as the Braves and Seattle Mariners wrap up our two-game interleague series. All year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The right stuff, the low price, every day. The Mariners are a hot ball club. They have won 4 consecutive games. Meanwhile, the Braves hope to heat up an interleague play. They're 0-5 against the American League. Let's hope that trend ends in Game 2 today. And hi again, friends. Quick turnaround for Joe Simpson, Tom Glavine, and yours truly, Chip Carey. The Mariners beat the Braves 7-5 in comeback fashion last night. However, it was a chance to make a terrific first impression for Tommy La Stella. Joey played his first home game as a Brave, and he certainly didn't disappoint.
No, not at all. And in fact, you know, when Tommy got called up, the scouting report on him was that he's a guy who put the ball in play, doesn't strike out much, very scrappy at the plate, but still had some things to work on defensively. Well, our Home Depot tools in the dugout, you'll see he made some terrific defensive plays last night. 3 and all. I thought this one was the best one, going to his right and picking up that short hop and still getting it out, but he wasn't done. He had a terrific game in his debut at Turner Field. He also mixed in a couple of hits. So his return, or his debut in the big leagues, has certainly been a good one. He's been a good player for the Atlanta Braves already, and there's his numbers last night and his overall average. Great work.
Making lots of contact is Tommy La Stella, and unfortunately that was the story for the bottom of the order for the Mariners last night, Tommy. Robbie Cano had a hand in the game for Seattle, but it was some unsung heroes that did most of the damage.
Well, as a pitcher, you go into every game identifying the guys that you don't want to beat you. Robinson Cano certainly being that guy. Usually the guys at the bottom of the order are not those guys, but last night those were the guys that did all the damage for the Mariners. You see John Buck had a big game, 3 for 4 with a 2-run homer. Brad Miller a couple singles, and Ramirez at the bottom of the order with the 3-run pinch hit home run. So that's the kind of old cliche is, yes, you identify guys that you don't want to let beat you, but you can't forget about the other guys in the lineup as well, because at the end of the day, they're big league hitters as well.
And Lloyd McClennan's got a lot of those unsung heroes for Seattle in their starting lineup in the wrap-up of this series. When we come back, the Braves need some help at the ballot box. All-star comparisons are coming up as we wrap things up with the Mariners in Atlanta today.
AT UVerse, Delta Airlines, and Ford.
Everybody's all-star Hugger had another base hit last night, an RBI single in the first for Freddie Freeman. And today, the Braves say goodbye to the Mariners in this quick two-game series as they look for a split. Well, it's that time of year again. Major League All-Star Game is coming up July 15th on Fox from Target Field in Minneapolis. And the Braves fans have a little bit of work to do. See, there are no Braves in the top three of any vote getters at any position except for Freddie Freeman. Now, Freddie still would appreciate your hugs and love and votes. He's behind Adrian Gonzalez of the Dodgers and Justin Morneau of the Rockies. Now, both of those teams are not in first place. In fact, the Dodgers are 7 games out. Rockies are 8.5 back. Freeman remains the best clutch hitter on a first-place team, .471 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, and another big hit to get the scoring started for the Braves last night. So here's your opportunity. Go to Braves.com, find that all-star ballot, and vote Freddie Freeman, or else we're going to have another hug campaign. Hey, that wasn't so bad after all, was it last year? Got him in, and it bettered him over Puig. But first, baseball today. It's the finale of this quick 2-game stretch as the Braves look for a split against the Mariners. Chip, Joe, and Tom will have a look at the lineups and first pitch right after this.
With the breeze blowing straight out in center field, that's the Braves battery. Mike Minor and Evan Gattis hopeful of evening up this series with Seattle. The Mariners are playing good ball right now. They've won their last 4 games, and a much different look for Lloyd McClendon's starting lineup presented by Toyota. This is a Jim Leland style lineup on a getaway day. A lot of bench players, chance to tune them up. And our first look at Mike Zunino, a #1 pick out of the University of Florida. He is the Seattle catcher, and he'll work with Hisashi Iwakuma, the first time we've seen the Mariners' Japanese import pitcher.
And they'll be facing Mike Minor for the Braves. He'll be taking the hill, making his 7th start of the year, 2-3 on the year. Coming off a tough game his last time out against Boston. Pitched great. Unfortunately, did not factor into the win. A 7-inning outing with 1 run and 3 strikeouts. And he will look to turn around his fortunes in interleague play. Has not had much luck against the American League. 10 starts, 2-5 with a 3.4 ERA. So let's hope that changes today.
Let me ask you guys a question. Both of you played in the major leagues a long time. This is the 2nd game between the Braves and Mariners in the span of 14 hours. What special challenges, if any, do these two clubs have in playing today's game at Turner Field?
Well, I love playing day games, and I'm kind of an exception to the rule, I think. So I would be excited about playing a day game knowing that I've got an afternoon and then a day off the next day. I think that that would be incentive for me.
Agreed. I mean, I was never, I didn't dislike day games other than a handful in July when it's 140 degrees out. I mean, those were not ones that you particularly look forward to. But I agree. Look, I mean, you know, tough loss last night, but sometimes that quick turnaround is a good thing. You don't have much time to think about it. You got to get back out there and get after it. So hopefully that'll be the case.
Time for the work scouting report for Mike Minor this afternoon. He's had a real good back foot slider to right-handed hitters, coming off a great start against Boston when he should have won but didn't. And he was effective with that pitch to the Red Sox. And try to stay away from that elevated fastball to try to get a swing and a miss. 0-2 or 1-2. That has not been successful for Mike. And he's given up 6 home runs in his 37 innings. In fact, these two guys, Iwakuma and Mike, both did not start the season active. They were on the DL. This is both their 7th starts. And their numbers across the board are very similar.
You know, for me, and we talk about that high fastball all the time, it's just not an easy pitch for some guys to make. But in hearing what you're saying, where he's really started to develop that back foot slider, particularly to the righties, if that's a pitch you want to look to set up, you're not going to set it up with a high fastball. You're going to set it up with a fastball that you're burying in on that right-handed hitter's hand. So for me, I would prefer to see him take that route if that's what he's trying to do to get him off of that slider versus trying to throw that high fastball, which is such a small margin for error.
Warm day in Atlanta, wind blowing out. Figure the baseball's going to travel. That will be hugely important for Iwakuma and Minor to keep the ball down today. Willie Bloomquist is the Seattle leadoff man. He's playing first base for the M's today. And he's been a hot hitter in his last 4 starts. 6 hits and 6 RBIs. So Lloyd McClendon will start things off with Bloomquist. And the first pitch of the day is a called strike. Marty Foster has the ball and strike calls today. First chance of the day for Andrelton Simmons, and a perfect throw retires Bloomquist. And there's out number 1. I think I heard 84 degrees officially at first pitch, but with the humidity it feels a lot less comfortable than that.
A little muggy today.
Mike's line against the Red Sox: 7 innings, 7 hits, just 1 run allowed, and did not walk a batter, did not allow a homer, struck out 3. Hopefully that kind of work continues today, and he'll get a few more runs to work with. He got beat 4-3.
Andy Chavez in his 13th big league season.
The fact that he didn't walk anybody and certainly not give up any home runs in that ballpark, you wonder if his mindset, his focus was a little bit different being in that ballpark, and it's something he can incorporate more.
To first, that's off Freddie Freeman. He can't find it, but recovers on the foul line, and with his toe on the bag snags the baseball and retires Chavez. 2 up, 2 down.
This is a panic feeling. You know it's somewhere close, but you can't find it, and the last place you know to look is straight up. But fortunately it came down close enough to the bag that, unlike last night, he could grab the ball and keep his foot on the base.
Yeah, you see that happen with catchers a lot too. When it bounces and ends up in their feet, that seems to be the last place they look. They're looking everywhere else.
So here's Robinson Cano, and he swings the first pitch. Nice tumbling play, La Stella. Wow!
Boy, if he could only hit.
Yeah, what defensive problems? Jeez.
3 up, 3 down. Tommy, can you hear me? What a play. And Seattle out in order in the top of the first. First inning. Let's see if the Braves can exact some revenge against the Seattle Mariners. Freddie Gonzalez's Toyota starting lineup features B.J. Upton. A good night last night against Seattle, including a solo homer. He scored a couple of runs. And Upton's riding a 5-game hitting streak for Atlanta, who faces a real tough customer in rotation for the Mariners today.
Right-hander Hisashi Iwakuma. See his splits, 4 home starts, 1 and 2. Been better on the road as far as winning anyway. 2-0 with a 3.6. He's 3-2 on the year with a 3.09 ERA. This is his 7th start of the season.
His 4 keys to pitching success today. Number 1, middle finger. Before you jump to conclusions, I'll explain in a second. He was 3rd in the Cy Young voting last year, too, with a great season in Seattle.
Lined over second. Jason Hayward has another hit. That's a 9-game hitting streak.
Iwakuma started the year on the disabled list because in some workouts before spring training, he was using his throwing motion and got his middle finger caught in a net, in a screen, like maybe a pitcher screen in front of him, and it damaged the tendon in his middle finger that delayed his start to spring training and ultimately to his season. But last year, 14-6 with a 2.66 ERA for the M's.
Nice 1-2 punch with King Felix Hernandez at the top of the Mariners rotation. But he's immediately in the stretch for B.J. Upton, who showed bunt and missed it. Strike 1.
This guy's got a great split finger pitch and a slider that has become very effective for him. He throws in the high 80s, low 90s.
Doesn't walk many guys, but like you said, has been very susceptible to the home run ball.
Jason has a big lead at first. And a cue shot fouled at the plate for Upton. No balls, 2 strikes. Upton's numbers on a steady rise, hitting in the number 2 spot. One reason why, Hayward's been on base a lot. Another reason why, Freddie Freeman's hitting behind B.J. Upton, so he's nestled in that number 2 hole and swinging a hot bat. And that's taken low, a ball and 2 strikes.
This kid Zunino behind the plate has done a good job of helping control the running game. He's thrown out 28% of base stealers, a very good percentage. Outstanding defensive player behind the plate.
A 1-2 pitch. And Upton tips, and it's caught by Zunino for strikeout number 1.
Steady dose of sliders, then comes back with a fastball tailing down and in, or that actually might have been a split. Or that split that you were talking about that's really become, or is his big secondary pitch to go along with that slider. Good location, good action on that one.
1 on, 1 out for Freddie Freeman. He's got 3 hits in the last 3 games. A big hole on the right side for the Braves first baseman. And a high strike. Don't see the split finger pitch all that much anymore. 20-30 years ago, lots of guys threw it.
Yeah, the 80 was the pitch of the 80s, I guess, right?
Yeah, it was. Tim Hudson had a good one. Still does.
Freddie pokes one down the left field line, but that's slicing towards the seats and a couple rows deep.
Neither one of these lineups have a lot of guys that have seen the other pitcher. B.J. Upton's the only guy in the Braves lineup that had seen Iwakuma. So there's a learning process this first at bat. The more pitches you see, the better off you're going to be later in the game.
Iwakuma, the 5th Japanese native to pitch for the Seattle Mariners, but only the 2nd man to start for them in the Seattle franchise history. Max Suzuki was the first in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And as Joe mentioned, Iwakuma had a terrific debut year last year. One ball, two strikes. Just underway in Atlanta. Mike Minor got Seattle in order in the top of the first. And Freeman is down on strikes. There's that 88-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 outs.
And elevated it.
Yeah, Freddie swung and looked back, kind of like, what was that? You know, kind of not sure.
A little tardy on it.
Yep.
Here's Justin Upton. A rare hitless game for Upton at home last night. He was 0 for 4 and struck out 3 times. He entered this series hitting .400 at Turner Field this year. No balls and a strike.
And that was the slider.
This seems to be the year of the home road offensive splits in the National League. Marlins and Rockies as teams in our league. Mariners the same story, but in opposite fashion. They're actually better on the road offensively.
They've been a better road team, which is, I mean, regardless of how tough a ballpark you play in hitting wise, it always seems a little surprising when a team's a better offensive team on the road.
The Mets in our division fall into that category too this year. Very odd statistical splits in the first 2 months. 1-2 for Upton. Hayward still at first. And that's into the club level to our right. A ball and 2 strikes.
Like so many Japanese pitchers, he's got a lot of motion, got a real quick leg kick that as a hitter starts kind of amping you up a little bit, gets you anxious. And with his slider, if he uses that and his split as an off-speed pitch, it's very effective thanks to that motion.
And it's much less pronounced out of the stretch, of course, but when he's in the windup, like so many of the Japanese pitchers, Tommy, he comes to a pause before he delivers the baseball in the middle of his windup. It's almost like every Japanese starting pitcher in the big leagues has that exact same motion.
Yeah, it seems certainly that that's something they teach over there, or they believe in over there for whatever reason. But yeah, you don't see any of the American guys doing that.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and Upton fought it off. He's still alive.
Iwakuma's had a couple of rough starts. His last 2 times out, 13 innings, 17 hits, and 9 runs, and 4 homers. So he's had a rough time of it, despite the fact that his ERA is still 3.09.
His first game off the DL was decent. His next 3 were really good, and his last 2 have not been very good at all. And that happens sometimes. You kind of, when you miss that spring training atmosphere and kind of going through all that, you tend to have those ups and downs in spring training. But he doesn't have the luxury of having had that.
Toward third and just foul. And Upton will do it again. A ball and 2 strikes. You can tell it's a humid day in Atlanta. Just look at the infield. Ed Mankin and the ground crew always waters down the dirt areas, but still a whole lot of shiny areas out at second base and right where Kyle Seager's playing at third.
Yeah, we just had a big cloud come over too that's taking the sunshine away. Made it rather dark here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Good take by Upton. 2-2 now.
Well, you talked about trying to become familiar with these guys and see as many pitches as you can. Justin's seen about everything he's got in his arsenal this at bat.
And he'll see an 8th pitch. he's rewarded with a hit to right. Hayward skipped the rope as the baseball was in his path towards second base. And Atlanta's got him first and third as Upton outlasted Iwakuma here in the opening inning.
Terrific at bat. Like Tom said, he saw just about everything he had and took this one to right field. Elevated a fastball about belt high.
Good at bat, fought off some good pitches, and had good result.
So Upton and Bloomquist, former teammates with the Diamondbacks, renew acquaintances at first, and here's Evan Gattis. Atlanta fans hoping for a repeat in today's first inning. Gattis hit a 3-run homer to cap a 4-run first last night. And Evans' hot run at the plate is our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot.
4 homers, 9 RBIs in his last 6 games. That's a good tear.
One ball, no strikes.
More homers than any other catcher in baseball.
And more homers than walks for Gattis. Doesn't happen often, does it? 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing, roller toward third, and the peg to second is in plenty of time, and that'll retire the side. Braves get a couple of first inning hits. They force 21 pitches from Iwakuma, but are unable to break through. And by the Georgia lottery. Off we go to the second inning. No score here in Atlanta. Glad you're with us from Turner Field. And today only get a field view seat in the 100 level for as low as $25. It's the Braves Steal of the Week. See Freddie Freeman and the Braves battle Mike Trout and the Angels and save up to 40% off your ticket price. Go to Braves.com/steal now. Well, here's one of the villains last night, Stephen Romero. A pinch hit 3-run homer for Seattle in the 4th inning last night. He batted for Erasmo Ramirez. Well, I thought Lloyd McClendon, maybe his finest hour as a manager in Seattle. He pushed every right button as the Mariners came back from a 4-0 deficit to win the game 7-5.
It certainly turned out like we were speculating. We leave the pitcher in there to sacrifice bunt maybe instead, but He played this card instead, and that was a good one to play.
Well, and to yank his pitcher that early, that doesn't happen very often. And I think maybe his National League roots kind of helped out in that decision. You're so used to the American League letting your guy just keep going. And that was a terrific move as it turned out. Well done.
First year for Lloyd McClendon as the Mariners skipper. He's got a 30-28 record. They've moved to third place out west now, and only 6 games behind Oakland.
Yeah, it's like we talked about last night too with them. They're one good week away from getting back in it, and unfortunately they're having a good week, but Oakland's matching them. They can't make up any ground.
That missed inside to Romero, full count.
This guy was a nice draft pick, 12th round out of Oregon State. Hitting double digits in homers just about every stop in the minor leagues.
And he took a called third strike. He was a step toward the first base bag, but Romero takes a left turn. First strikeout for Mike.
Backdoored him. No, fastball.
Fastball that I think he was trying to sell it. I don't think he could have done anything with it had he swung at it anyway. That's just a perfect pitcher's pitch.
Yep.
So bases empty, 1 out for the Mariners team leader in homers and RBIs, Kyle Seager. He was 0 for 5 in the opener last night. It's interesting this time of year to take a look and evaluate organizational draft philosophies. Braves for years have been known as an organization that is very happy to draft high school pitchers. In the case of Mike Minor, he was a college guy. But you look at the Mariners as Freeman handles to his right and will take the ball to the bag himself for the second out. The Mariners have really drafted college hitters, trying to get them to the big leagues much more quickly. And you look up and down their lineup, a lot of college guys in there today, but they haven't blossomed quite as quickly as Jack Zarenzik and the Mariners front office would have hoped.
Well, maybe that's because they got rushed up here a little bit. You know, it could be that they didn't get a lot of minor league at bats under their belt before they got here, and they're having to learn on the job, and it's been a slow curve for them.
Here's another one of those college kids, former Gator Mike Zunino.
Yeah, obviously too. I mean, your standing at the big league level has probably a lot to do with how you draft. You know, for the Braves, for so many years they can afford to get those high school pitchers and be patient and develop them because they're having success at the big league level. So there wasn't as urgent a need to get those guys here. You know, certainly, you know, the Mariners are, and a lot of these everyday players are probably in a similar situation that a lot of guys like myself and Smoltz and Avery and all those pitchers were in the early 90s, where, you know what, go to the big leagues, learn how to play at that level.
Not easy to do.
No, it's not. You're going to take your bumps and you're going to have your ups and downs. But, you know, I know the philosophy here in dealing with that with the guys that we had here was that they felt we could handle it and they weren't worried about that. So I think that has to go into the thought process for these guys too. If they think they can handle the ups and downs, then you're better off learning here, I always felt like, than having another good year at AAA.
I'm with you on that. I really am. And uh-oh. Barking from the dugout.
I think they were upset about the call to Romero too, that ended his at bat.
Well, they've had really high picks. You know, we talked about the Pirates and their choices to draft a lot of pitchers with some of their high picks. Some worked out. Injuries prevented some others from not working out for them. But they've taken position players, like you said. Chip Ackley was the 2nd pick in the draft. This guy was the 3rd pick in his draft.
Yeah, I don't think any aspect of scouting players and projecting them is easy. But it almost seems a little bit easier to project what a pitcher and an arm is going to be versus a hitter with an aluminum bat, and then once he makes the adjustment to a wooden bat.
I agree.
Swing and a miss. Minor takes care of Zunino. That's his 2nd strikeout of the game. He's retired the first 6 Mariners in order in today's ball game. Chris Johnson leads off the second for the Braves. Hot dog, no score. By AT and by 22 Jump Street.
Welcome back to Turner Field. Tom Hart at the ballpark. Guys, we're talking about the Major League Draft coming up tomorrow, and the Mariners roll in it. They have the 6th overall pick. The Braves don't have a first-round pick. They lost that when they signed free agent Irvin Santana. So the first pick will be in the 32nd overall compensation pick after Brian McCann signed with the Yankees. Frank Wren talked to the media today about their plans for that pick and how they get prepared for it. Guys, it was really interesting. They've gone through some simulations, and then tomorrow with the draft at night, they'll actually hold some mock drafts to try and predict what players will be available to the Braves at number 32.
Thank you, Tom. Certainly an exciting time for every major league organization, but as you know, you guys were drafted. What's that experience like, sitting and waiting for the phone to ring, or in the case of Joe, the Pony Express to get to his house in Oklahoma?
You're exactly right. I didn't know for 2 weeks.
Right? Chris goes the other way. Cano can't get there. Don't know if he spun his wheels or not, but that ball was bounding away from the Seattle second baseman, and Chris Johnson has his 3rd hit of the series.
It's funny what one hit will do to a hitter's attitude, confidence, but I still go back to that double he hit last night. That was so good for him, and just missed a 3rd hit last night and already won today.
So here's Tommy La Stella. I'd say he's broken in real good shape.
I would agree. About the only thing I guess we haven't seen is his first big league homer.
This would be a nice spot for it. He's got a 3-game hitting streak for the Braves. He's made 4 outstanding plays at second base in this series. So good luck to Tony DeMacio and his staff. Tony's the director of scouting for the Braves. Johnny Almaraz, the director of international scouting for Atlanta.
See, I propelled Tony on his way. He drafted me. Look at him now. He obviously knows his stuff.
1 ball, 1 strike, and that's a little low.
Yeah, except that he turned in that report that you were really a good-looking right-handed pitcher. I thought that was.
Well, you got the good-looking part right.
Johnson at first, very short lead. Iwakuma has surrendered 3 singles to the Braves so far today. And Tommy pops 1 foul. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. That missed the corner. Full count. Now Tommy doesn't strike out much. In fact, he's punched out one time.
Send him. Let Tommy know he's going.
He's going. And it's bounced off the plate. Iwakuma will flip to Bloomquist at first. Johnson at second on a tapper to the mound. And there's out number one for Andrelton Simmons.
There's a nice play by the pitcher.
Yep.
Not easy coming off the back of the mound and trying to find the ball up above you, but stayed with it, made a good play.
Chris Johnson moving on the play, and as expected, La Stella making contact.
You figure Andrelton will do the same. He's another tough man to punch out. He was 0 for 3 last night, batting 8th in front of Mike Minor. And he does make contact, but pops it up towards second. Cano drifts out into the outfield grass and puts the squeeze on that for the second out. Andrelton flipped the bat away in frustration as he offered at the first pitch.
Yeah, impatient there.
Well, that's part of the process of pitching. You got a hitter up there, a runner in scoring position. You figure he's probably going to come after Andrelton with Minor on deck and not fool around with him and have to face Jason Hayward potentially with 2 outs. So you're thinking maybe I'm going to get a pitch to hit, and threw him that slider first pitch and got him to pop it up.
Two outs for pitcher Mike Minor, looking for his first RBI of the year. And called a strike.
I don't know what it looks like in the batter's box, but man, from here that slider looks like it's starting right at their front elbow.
And that's why Mike flinched.
That is into the upper deck, foul. And quickly 0-2. Boy, it's too bad the Braves don't have Lance Berkman at their disposal today.
Yeah. What a matchup.
We would have the big Kuma versus the big Puma. One ball, 2 strikes.
Lance had a good career. Too bad flag football got in the way.
Fans might forget I don't want to say got to, but he had to play center field at Minute Maid Park one year for Houston. Remember him running up and down Towles Hill?
Yeah, played it pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
1-2 pitch.
Let it hang, Mike.
They're making Iwakuma work. He's up to 36 pitches and not out of the second inning. Hayward on deck. Chris Johnson at second after a leadoff single. There are 2 out. And that's off the catcher's mask.
Oh, man, look at that thing bounce.
Well, if he wasn't awake, he is now.
It came off his face about an inch.
And a swing and a miss. Iwakuma had to work in the second, but he strands a third Braves base runner. No score after 2.
The Home Depot, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
Welcome back. We go to the top of the third inning. Scoreless game here in Atlanta. And fans, now it's time for you to tweet your photo using #SouthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming broadcast. That's brought to you by AT.
What are those hats called, Chip? Are the pork pie hat?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No.
Do you have one, Tom?
No, I don't.
Okay. Dave Baker's got several. He's been trying to get me to get one. But
you know what those hats are good for, Joe?
What?
Taking a nap on a warm day.
Oh, yes.
Hey, a well-placed, well-timed nap is big luxury.
Good thing this game didn't start at 11.
Yep.
Third inning. Gillespie, Miller, and Iwakuma coming up. Miners sent down 6 in a row. A little help from his defense in the first. Cole Gillespie down a strike. They called him up in late April because he did all he could do offensively with the Tacoma Rainiers. That's the Mariners AAA club. Hit .362 down at Tacoma. And he's got a base hit to start the Seattle third.
Nice swing there. Good use of his hands, stayed back. Where's he from?
Gillespie, I think, was a non-roster player that came to camp with Seattle. Was minor league free agent, signed in January. Last year was with the Giants and Cubs organizations. Got 25 games with the Cubs and hit .240. He'll be 30 on June 20th.
Oh, so he's no kid.
No.
All right.
Here's Miller. Nice stop by Gaddis. He can't find the baseball, and there's your point, Tommy.
Yep.
Right at his feet. And Gaddis did a pirouette after the wild pitch.
Nice read by Gillespie, too, because that ball bounced so far out in front of home plate. He figured it was going to be a problem, and he was off to the races quickly. Right in the mask. And there you go, Tommy. That pitch would have been better.
Yes. But that's kind of typical. You throw a good breaking ball and you try to follow it up, and the next one's not so good.
So Minor in the stretch for the first time today. As the 8th place hitter, Brad Miller, who's batting $173.
But he's one of those guys Tommy was talking about in the opening comments, bottom of the order, and how they came through yesterday.
Jack swinging into the seats. Didn't get the corner. He wanted that pitch. Full count.
Good pitch. PNC pitching performance on our Fox tracks a little wide.
That one caught the inside corner and Miller took it. He's retired. That's 3 strikeouts for Minor today.
Pretty gutsy pitch here. 3-2 count. Runner on second, nobody out. Came back with the breaking ball, and I think Mr. Miller, like myself, was thinking fastball.
Well, and not to mention the fact that lefties don't often throw that curveball in. I don't know if Mike was trying to do that or just throw it for a strike, make sure he threw it for a strike, but it worked.
So here is Iwakuma. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in the North American Major Leagues. It's understandable with his offensive struggles. The man he faced was Adam Wainwright.
He's not alone.
Yeah.
Nothing in 2 with Gillespie out at second base. He's got a big lead there. And that is tipped and caught, and Iwakuma is struck out, and quickly 2 away.
Actually, we don't know what's going to happen the rest of the day, but this is more the type game I expected from these 2 teams last night. The Mariners last in the American League in batting average. The Braves not setting it on fire offensively for most of the year. I thought it'd be more of a pitching dominated 2-game series, and so far today that's what we've got.
But here's Bloomquist making his first start of the year at first base for Seattle today. Justin Smoke has been their everyday first baseman. He's got the day off, but he can be plugged in at any time if needed for the M's, who are still looking for somebody to hit consistently behind Robbie Cano. That's a piece of the puzzle they hope to solve when Logan Morrison and Corey Hart come back from injury. But they're hanging in without him, as well as 2 big pieces of their starting rotation. Taijuan Walker and James Paxton, who are nearing returns for the Mariners. They could be back in a couple of weeks, said Lloyd McClendon.
You know, I thought those were 2 good signs in getting Corey Hart, Logan Morrison. We see Morrison a lot when he was with Miami, as long as he stayed healthy. Corey Hart didn't play at all last year because of knee issues, but if those guys are healthy, they could be big pluses for this lineup.
Braves don't want to pitch to the right-hand hitting Bloomquist here, so they'll walk him intentionally and get after Endy Chavez. He hit a hard ball toward Freddie Freeman at first. It ricocheted off his glove, went straight up in the air, then straight down, and after a search, Freddie found it on the first baseline and stepped on the bag in time for the second out of the ball game. First and second, 2 down for Seattle. Just inside from Mike. 1 ball, no strikes. Chavez, another non-roster player. He's 36 years old now. Broke in with the Royals in 2001. Then went to Montreal, Washington, the Phillies, the Mets. First stint with Seattle, it was in 2009, then Texas and Baltimore. And then last year, 97 games with the Mariners, where he hit almost 300 in his home park. That was a rarity for the Mariners ball club. Another chance at first for Freeman. No difficulty this time. And Minor pitches around a leadoff hit and a base on balls to strand a pair of Seattle runners in the top of the 3rd inning. Top of the order for Atlanta, our Delta Airlines on-deck trio. Hayward, Upton, and Freeman coming up in a scoreless game.
Telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Scoreless game on a hot, sticky day in Atlanta. Braves and Mariners wrapping up the 2-game series. And Sashi Iwakuma back out there with the top of the Braves order up. Jason Hayward, B.J. Upton, and Freddie Freeman. Took a while for Jason to gain some traction with the batting average, but he's got it now. He's riding a 9-game hitting streak and hitting .253 for the year. That was nearly a thing of beauty.
Sure was. Certainly got Iwakuma's attention, hoping it went foul.
Got Seegers too. He's a step or two closer to the bag now with 2 strikes. And popped out a play by Hayward, still 0-2.
Yeah, and pitched him in.
Yeah, if you can reach that pitch that far off the plate and that's how you want to get him out, you better do something on the other side of the plate to get him off of that. See if he goes back to that fork ball away.
A little tapper out towards short. Nice pick and throw by Miller. That retires Hayward. 4 out, number 1. Time for our AT&T Uverse trivia question today. Since 2012, Hisashi Iwakuma's 2.87 ERA is second lowest in the American League with a minimum of 300 innings pitched. Who has the lowest ERA in the AL with more than 300 innings since the start of the 2012 season? Joe, I think we might have to leave that one in the hands of the pitching expert in the booth today. Is B.J. Upton?
I was just going to say, I have no idea.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Baker, Laser Baker.
It's going to take some thought. I don't know the American League very well.
Well, Dave would be a good pinch thinker. His brain is well rested today.
I was thinking Chris Sale. I don't know why. Why would I think that?
Well, he's off to a great start with the White Sox since coming back from injury. One and two for Upton.
Hugh Darvish, maybe?
Oh, I like that too.
1-2 count and downstairs. We were taunted from afar with today's trivia question. We were told that we would have no chance to get the answer right today.
Well, she was right. It was much tougher today.
Yeah, we kind of got a gimme last night with Chase Utley being the answer. With more than 800 RBIs as a second baseman, along with Robinson Cano. But plenty of time to think about the answer as Iwakuma and Upton square off here in the third inning. And another chance for Miller, this time to his right. Another good throw gets Upton, 2 out.
He's got a good arm. Again, a big guy, high draft choice out of Clemson.
You know, for as long as the Mariners have a franchise in the Pacific Northwest, whoever plays shortstop is going to be compared to the incomparable Omar Vizquel.
Yeah, you know, everybody, and rightfully so, uses Ozzie Smith as kind of the measuring stick for Andrelton Simmons, but boy, oh boy, Omar Vizquel was as good as Ozzie defensively, in my opinion.
There's not a doubt in my mind that if Omar Vizquel still wanted to play, he probably could. "41, 42 years old now is Vizquel. I don't know if he's officially retired or not, but he's not playing.
Yeah, he is, but that's what we were talking about in spring training. Remember, we had a Braves and Tigers game, and the Tigers were searching for a shortstop because their guy went down. I said, hey, best replacement they could find is sitting right there in their dugout.
Yeah.
Activate him.
And he doesn't have to hit,
no,
but he can. You know, that's the thing about Omar Vizquel. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And high to Freeman, it's 2-2.
That worked first time around. Freddie chased that pitch.
Now full count.
I don't think it would work, but that's when, as a hitter, you want to, after you see it bounce up in the air toward the backstop, you want to swing then and take off running.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't work.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Base is empty, 2 outs. Braves third inning. And bounded foul past Terry Pendleton. Do it again. Braves are off tomorrow. We will travel to Arizona. The Mariners leave after this game and head down to Tampa Bay. They're off tomorrow. And start a series with the Rays, a 4-game series until Monday, June the 9th. And Freeman didn't get that pitch. It was off speed and maybe off the plate. 3 up, 3 down in the third. The scoreless duel continues in Atlanta. Braves and the Seattle Mariners. And all year long, Braves baseball is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Hope we'll see a big crowd here on June 17th. That's a Tuesday. It'll be Hall of Famer Greg Maddux bobblehead night. And that's sponsored by our friends at Delta Airlines. The Phillies will be in town, and the first 20,000 fans get to take home that great collector's item. Get your tickets today at Braves.com. Wonder if Greg will be here.
I doubt it. I know he's scheduled to come later in the summer to the alumni function where they have the softball game. I think he's supposed to be here then. I don't know about bobblehead night.
Minor to Cano and a line drive over short. That's the second Seattle hit. And Robinson Cano, who was robbed by Tommy La Stella earlier, gets some revenge to start the fourth. He's the second straight Mariner leadoff man to reach.
Well, not only that, I mean, he had a pitch buzz the tower and to come right back on the next pitch and line a base hit. That tells you a little something about him.
Told you earlier, the Mariners looking for somebody to hit behind Cano. Today it's Stephen Romero. He struck out looking in the second inning and wasn't sure about the third strike call.
That changeup is also a nice weapon to right-handers, Tommy, as a complement to that back foot slider.
Yeah. Well, you know, because provided he pitches off his fastball, establishes that he can locate his fastball away, then it's a really tough pitch. You know, because now, like you said, he's got the sinker and the changeup on the outside part of the plate. He's got the fastball and the slider down to the back foot on the inside part of the plate. So, you know, even if you give up one side or the other, you can't necessarily narrow it down to one pitch.
Or even to one side of the plate.
Right. You know, as a hitter, I think sometimes you got to take a shot and say, all right, I'm looking in or I'm looking away.
Sure.
And try to eliminate one side of the plate as best you can. But like I said, even then, when you eliminate one side and guess in a certain area, you're not certain it's going to be one particular pitch.
That's into the seats to our right, and Romero's still alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike's pitched well over his last 4 games. 6 earned runs over 26 2/3 innings, not counting 3+ innings of scoreless ball today. He's 2-1 in that stretch for the Braves. And now has a full count to Romero. Base hit to left. So back-to-back hits for Seattle in the 4th inning. Now you've got to face Seager. Again, their top home run and RBI man with 2 aboard and nobody out.
I was looking up some of their minor league at bats for some of those high draft picks, and while Seager wasn't taken as high as Ackley, he had 1,000 minor league at bats before he got to the big leagues.
We were talking earlier about the draft philosophy of the Mariners. College bats, trying to get them to the big leagues as quickly as possible. Does the league in college have any effect at all as to how they're going to perform at the major league level, you think? A couple of these guys played at Carolina, South Carolina, Clemson, ACC, a real good baseball league, as is the SEC. Case of Zunino, their catcher, Florida Gator. Line drive to center. And Upton's going to make the catch. And no tag by Cano. 2 on 1 out now.
I think it definitely, if I were a scout, I would definitely think that he's performing to this level against very good competition. Sure, I think that helps you on your projection. But just think about all the, I'll say, college guys that are drafted out of small colleges. Billy Wagner, for example.
Yeah.
If you got it, you got it. Doesn't matter who you're playing against.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I don't know college baseball landscape, but I would have to think it's similar to college football in that certain conferences have certain reputations, and certain coaches or programs within those conferences are notorious for getting certain type players developed. I would think that all has to matter, but you know, I agree, and I've been saying this for a long time now. In this day and age, it almost, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter as much. If you're any good, they're going to find you.
Here's Zunino, former Florida Gator, as Joe mentioned, #1 pick by the Mariners, the 3rd overall pick in the 2012 draft. And he's our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard subject.
Most home runs by a catcher in the American League, still trailing Evan Gattis. Another thing I think that has helped, at least from a scouting standpoint, is the change in the aluminum bats for the college and high school players. Bats have been deadened, for lack of a better term. So the ball's not flying out of the ballpark like it used to.
2 on, 1 out for Zunino out of Cape Coral, Florida. And back to the screen foul. He's behind 1-2. Tom?
Yeah, it looks like the Mariners, according to the mock drafts, are going to stick with that plan with the college guy with the 6th overall pick and some local guys. You talked about big leagues. Aaron Nola, pitcher from LSU, dominated the SEC. Tyler Beatty from Vandy did as well. And then a shortstop out of NC State, Trey Turner. They're big 3 options for #6 overall, sticking with that college theme.
Thanks, Tom. The pitch to Zunino is downstairs. Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I've seen Nola pitch a couple of times, Tom, and he's pretty impressive.
Draft gets underway tomorrow. As Tom mentioned, the Braves don't have a 1st-round pick. They lost that when they signed Santana. As Zunino chased the ball down and in, that's that pitch you guys were talking about, Miners setting up. The Seattle catcher is down on strikes, and he's the 2nd out.
Yeah, and he did a nice job of setting it up with the pitch before. A fastball in that he took. And then that one, fastball again, but looked like it had a little accidental cut on it. I don't think Mike did that on purpose, but certainly set up by the pitch before.
So let's see what Gillespie has in mind with 2 outs. He singled back in the 3rd inning.
Did that happen very often when you were pitching, where a ball did something that you weren't trying to make it do, but it did it, and you kind of went, oh, I wish I knew how I did that?
Yeah, and it was mostly that pitch. Were times where I'd try to throw a fastball into a righty and I'd just hold on to it too long, or make sure I buried it in there, and every once in a while it would come off with a nice little cut on it. I'm thinking, man, I wish I could do that on purpose, but I couldn't.
Now, you're a smart guy. Why would you just try to go find Mariano Rivera and hang out for 5 minutes?
I didn't have to. I had Doggy here with me, and he had as good a cutter as anybody, and it was just, you know what, my natural follow through on my sinker and my changeup, which were my 2 big pitches, just wasn't conducive to that cut motion that you have to have on a cutter. I was very inconsistent with it. I mean, there were times where I'd go into spring training and say, all right, I'm not throwing anything but fastballs and cutters, and I'd work on it. It would be okay. And then there'd be some games where I'd go in, it would be okay, but it was just never a pitch that I could, for whatever reason, I just could not master it.
And couldn't depend on it.
Couldn't depend on it. More importantly, yeah.
2 balls and a strike. Minor to Cole Gillespie here in the Seattle 4th inning. And another late strike call. Mike got it. Isn't that funny? We all tend to try to hammer a square peg into a round hole. Hey, everybody should throw a changeup. Everybody should throw a slider. Not everybody can throw those pitches. Nice stop by Gaddis. Full count. The runners will move. Cano at second. Romero at first. Seattle has been a very good hitting club with runners in scoring position the last couple of weeks. They are hitless in that statistic so far today.
Well, I should like to see him take a shot with that changeup right here.
The payoff pitch to Cole Gillespie. Runners go. Line drive left field, base hit. Upton will charge on a second bounce. He'll field and fire toward third. The ball cut off by Simmons. And Cole Gillespie with a 2-hit day drives home Robinson Cano with the first run of the day for Seattle. It's 1-0 Mariners.
They got some guys coming through the last 2 games. That was only the second RBI for Gillespie since he got called up. But as Chip said, he was tearing it up in the Coast League. And last night it was Stefan Romero who stepped up. He's hitting 200.
More damage from the bottom of the order.
That was the case last night. First RBI of the game comes from the Seattle 7th place hitter Cole Gillespie. Mariners now lead 1-0. Here's Miller. Mariners shortstop took a call, third strike in the third inning. Right down central, a strike. Minor readies to make his 25th pitch of the inning. A run on 3 singles for Seattle.
Gotten increasingly tougher as it's gone along.
First inning, boy, they were jumping on the first pitch.
Romero at third, Gillespie at first, and a 2-2 pitch. Runner at first goes, and a check swing. And Gillespie will head back to first. Again, Gillespie runs, and Miller swings and misses. That's 6 strikeouts for Mike Minor, but he surrenders the game's first run on 3 hits. Cole Gillespie's RBI single gives the Mariners a 4th inning lead. On AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan today. And we welcome all of the fine men and women of our military. We showed that shot as we came back from commercial for a reason. And I'd like to see our crew put that back up if we could. Wonderful moment last night in Atlanta. 7 winners of the Congressional Medal of Honor were honored before the game at Turner Field. Colonel Donald Ballard, Sergeant Gary Bikekirk, Major General Pat Brady, Colonel Bruce Crandall, Colonel Joe Jackson from Noonan, Georgia, Sergeant Ken Rosser, and Sergeant Major Ken Stumpf were saluted before the game. I don't know about you guys, as Upton rolls to short. When you think about that award, and when we heard the tributes and the actions of heroism and valor that those men performed, and thinking about that again today, the hair on the back of my neck stands on end.
No, I'm with you. It's a great ceremony, some great stories, and you know, guys that epitomize, you know, heroism and bravery, and definitely definitely the guys you want in your foxhole with you.
Boy, oh boy, some of it was just amazing.
So a wonderful tribute at the ballpark last night, and we hope our service members are safe and sound and if able, enjoying today's game between the Mariners and the Braves here in Atlanta. Evan Gattis, the batter. Evan's riding a 6-game hit streak. He rounded out on a check swing in the Braves' first inning. And while he hits, let's check in with Tom Hart.
Yeah, he's the subject of our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Gattis' home runs have been difference makers. 33 in his career, 1 walk-off, 4 game tying, 16 go-ahead. So 21 of his 33 have either tied the game or put the Braves ahead.
That's rather significant.
Yeah, it's not how far you hit him, but I would think when.
No, you get that reputation of being a guy that hits, you know, gets the clutch hits, hits the clutch home runs. I mean, you know, that's where you get major respect from your teammates. There's a lot of guys that pad their stats when the game's not on the line.
Right.
Evan clearly not one of those guys when it comes to his home runs.
And that I think is the fun thing about interleague play, especially in this case for the Mariners. They hardly ever see the Braves, and their broadcasters can read the newspapers, and they've heard all about the legend of El Oso Blanco, and they want to see for themselves, and their fans do, whether the reality is as good as the legend. Well, they found out it was yesterday with that opposite field home run. In fact, Mike Blowers, who spent a lot of time in the big leagues as a terrific third baseman, said when Gattis hit the homer last night, he just laughed out loud as if to say, come on, really?
And he talked about him this morning as being what a fun player to be able to watch every night.
Yeah, I think his reaction to that home run kind of goes hand in hand with what we talked about last night too. With it's different when he hits the ball. I think if that's the first time you saw him play yesterday, when that ball came off his bat, you probably don't think it was a home run, but it just kept going and going, and you know, it makes you appreciate how strong he is.
Chris Johnson bats with the bases clear and 2 out. Chris is the last Brave to reach base. He singled to start the second inning. So Iwakuma putting the Braves bats into nap mode. He's retired 8 in a row. Strike 3 called, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. That might be his letter best today. He sent down 9 straight, 6 strikeouts for Iwakuma, and he leads 1-0. Airlines are proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves. Can't wait to see Mac Honey and the gang tomorrow afternoon when we make our way to Phoenix, then Colorado for a 7-game road trip beginning at Chase Field in Phoenix. Mike Minor's down a run. He's got the Seattle pitcher Iwakuma to start things off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Iwakuma is from Tokyo. Turned 33 on April the 12th. He is signed through the end of this season with an option for a contract next year for the Mariners.
What he is doing here is no big surprise to the Mariners, who signed him, of course, is because he was a Pacific League MVP one year.
Mike Minor just walked the pitcher.
And when he needed a quick inning. First unintentional walk in his last 2 starts.
I think it's part of his plan.
Okay.
Going to make him run the bases.
Like it. Here's the man that has the other walk. That's Willie Bloomquist. He was walked intentionally. To the screen, strike 1. And there's a strike. And a wild swing and a miss by Bloomquist. He's retired on 3 pitches. 1 on, 1 out for Endy Chavez.
That was an attempt at the back foot slider. It just bounced a little farther out in front, but still got Willie to swing at it. You were talking about all those teams that Endy Chavez has played for earlier, Chip. And you played with him in New York, is that right? I did,
yes.
You know, tell me if I'm wrong, but here's a guy who he just does everything right, little things right. He's a good defender, throws well, bunts well, obviously runs well, and knows his spot on the team, his value to the team, so he works on those things.
And he's going to be called out as that ball was bunted and hit him out of the batter's box. Lloyd McClendon's going to come argue. Marty Foster's pointing to the spot in fair territory where the ball hit and where Chavez was. He's going to be called out by the home plate umpire.
I thought he was in foul territory when it hit him, but nope.
That foot's out.
Left foot
hit him there, but well, he hadn't touched ground. Does it matter?
I don't know. See, initially, I thought that right foot was in foul territory when the ball hit him, but it hit him in fair territory. But like I said, his foot wasn't on the ground yet. But
I've complained about bunters stepping out of the box to put bunts down and not being called for it. But as the umpires straighten me out, the foot's got to be all the way out of the box. If the heel is touching the line, he's still considered to be in the box. And I thought that same thing might have applied there, but I guess not. Good for Mike Minor.
So that putout goes to Evan Gattis unassisted on the bunt try by Chavez. You saw his left foot in fair territory. His right foot looked to be on the foul line. So if a ball hits the line, it's considered a fair ball. I assume the foot's the same thing. And the call made immediately by the home plate umpire Foster. Don't believe that is a reviewable play. So no, Lloyd McClendon just out to fight for Endy Chavez. Here's Cano. He's singled and scored the lone run in the ball game. That was in the fourth. And that's how the sequence began last inning. Minor pitched him inside, and then Cano ripped a shot over short. Two and two.
He had been 0 for 6 against Mike in his career before that base hit.
Cano entered play today with the highest batting average in baseball during day games. A .400 average. He's 1 for 2 today. Might have been 2 for 2 had La Stella not robbed him with a stop, drop, and roll play at first base.
There's only one stop, drop, and roll.
2-2 pitch. And that takes care of Cano. And Minor pitches around a leadoff walk to the pitcher, who did have to stand out there in the hot summer sun here in Atlanta. Bottom of the order up for the Braves. Down a run in the fifth. That one is our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
And if John Smoltz were watching, he'd see that that's a way to barrel roll and come up and make the play, as opposed to just barrel rolling and flopping.
What do you mean? How do you? Oh, you mean like this?
It's funny you mention that.
They're exactly the same, just totally different.
Exactly. And Tommy's got a lot more hair.
He was so dizzy, he couldn't stand up. Oh, it's fun.
9 up, 9 down for Iwakuma through 4 innings of work. He leads by a run. Let's see if standing at first base in the top half of this inning has any effect on his work against the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Braves. A dramatically different game from last night's slugfest. Teams combined for 12 runs and 23 hits. Today, a run on 7 hits combined, and we're halfway through the ball game. Would you say this guy's fastball is sneaky quick? So we've seen a lot of late swings today.
Yeah, but I mean, he's pitching. You know that he pitches off his fastball. His 2 secondary pitches are good enough that he can command them, that the hitter has to respect them. So then all of a sudden when he throws that 88, 90 mile an hour fastball, it looks a lot harder.
Rick Waite's the pitching coach for the M's.
It's a homecoming for Rick too. He was born here in Atlanta back in 1952. Graduated from Farrell High School. Went to Clayton Junior College and Atlanta Baptist College.
A good guy. Just a nice guy.
Ground ball right side. Bloomquist shovels to the pitcher covering. And Listella's retired. That's the 10th straight Brave Iwakuma has set down in the game, and 1 away.
Just wearing him down, making him run to first. Now all the infielders will come in and like mill around so that poor guy can catch his breath. I know what Bob Gibson would be telling Willie Bloomquist right now. Young fella.
Ron Fairley, who for years was a popular broadcaster with the Mariners, terrific player with the Dodgers, had a great story about Bob Gibson and how tough he was. During one of those early spring games where Gibson, he gave no quarter anytime he had the ball on the mound. So this young kid's getting ready to go hit against Bob Gibson. He holds up his hand to the umpire and starts digging a hole in the batter's box to give himself a place to put his back foot. Gibson came off the mound and said, "Dig it deeper. Let's see if you'll fit in it." So as Gibson went back to the mound, he turned his back, Fairley said, and the young kid was on his hands and knees filling in the dirt in the batter's box. And a predictable outcome occurred. He drilled him with the next pitch. I assume the lesson was learned. A ball and a strike here for Simmons. It was said that Bob Gibson was so competitive for so many years with the Cardinals. Bill White, the former National League president, he and Bob Gibson were roommates. And when Bill White moved on from the Cardinals to the Phillies, I believe it was, first time Gibson saw him in the batter's box, he smoked him too. They were teammates forever with the Redbirds. Miller at short. He's had a good day defensively, and another good throw, and that's out number 2.
I know I saw with my own eyes at an old timers game in LA. Old Dodgers against old Giants. Don Drysdale was pitching, and as soon as Willie Mays came to the plate, he knocked him right on his can.
Really?
Oh yeah, flattened him. Willie was lucky to get out of the way. And Willie just sat there on his elbow and looked out and laughed like, well, nothing's changed.
Bob Gibson, you'll recall, was Joe Torre's pitching coach with the Braves in the early 80s across the street at old Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Slow roller right side. Seager's got it. Gloves, grabs, and the toss across in time. And that will retire the side. 12 up, 12 down for Iwakuma. He leads Atlanta 1-0. Time for our Georgia Power game summary as we head to the 6th inning.
Pretty much all Iwakuma to this point. No walks, that's not unusual for him, and 6 strikeouts. But he's got 1 run to work with, and Mike does not.
Miners scattered 4 hits, but a 2-out single for Cole Gillespie in the 4th has led to the game's only run. Easy play for Freeman off Romero's bat. 1 pitch, 1 out to start the Seattle 6th.
Romero and Brad Miller would be guys that would have fit in with the Mariners when I first joined them. They had a steadfast uniform rule, and basically everybody had to look the same. And you had to wear those ankle choker stirrups and show 4 inches of sock. Your pants could not be any higher or lower.
Was that from management or the manager?
I believe mostly the manager, Darryl Johnson, who managed the Red Sox in that great series with the Reds.
Now, you had a great story the other day talking about the Mariners and their original trident logo. That's long gone. They now have the compass rose as their main emblem representing the Pacific Northwest. That wasn't always the case, was it?
No, remember, if you old folks, if you can remember the old Mariner cap, which was more royal blue and had a gold trident that looked like an M on the front of it. When George Argyris bought the team from the original group that owned it, that included Danny Kaye, the actor. George is of Greek heritage, and that upside down trident was bad luck in Greek mythology. So he was trying to alter the look of it a little bit to try to make it look a little better.
How many years? Do you remember how many years he owned the team, George?
Well, I can tell you the year he bought it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And that's called third to Seager, who can't believe it. Miner happy to have the strikeout. That's his 9th in the game.
That looks like a beaut. Close enough.
Yeah. Day game, getaway day.
Oh, he bought him in '81, and that was the year that we went on strike.
Right.
So that was really, he had that going for him. He also bought the airline Air Cal.
Yeah.
Air traffic controllers went on strike same year.
Stay hot.
Stay hot.
He was really hot.
Well, he might have been onto something, because the Mariners' win totals from 1977, their first year, to 81, 64, 56, 67, 59, and then 44 wins in the strike year. Chris Johnson can't come up with that one cleanly, and Zunino's aboard with a 2-out hit.
89 was Argyris's last year of ownership. What do you think, guys? You think Anderson would have had a play on this?
Yeah. I don't know if he'd have had him, but
You know, unfortunately, Chris can't look behind him and see if Anderson's there.
So Cole Gillespie hits with a runner aboard and 2 out. First winning season in the history of the Mariners franchise was 1991.
That was a long wait.
Their best year ever was 2001. That year the Mariners won 116 games. They went 116-46.
I believe that tied the record, didn't it?
I think it
with
did.
the Cleveland Indians.
And it has been said that with the heroics of Ken Griffey Jr. and Randy Johnson and all the terrific young players that the Mariners were able to accumulate through the draft, Tino Martinez, there might be one man who singularly saved baseball in Seattle, and he wasn't a player. He wasn't an owner. He might have been manager Lou Piniella. And the Mariners, through those remarkably successful years in the early 90s, and into the early 2000s. They got the new ballpark. The Kingdome was imploded to make way for Safeco Field. That was no sure thing. In fact, the Mariners were almost signed, sealed, and delivered to Tampa St. Pete. Only at the last minute were they able to get the stadium deal pushed through. And the Mariners remain a fixture in the Pacific Northwest. Season high strikeouts now for Mike Minor. He's got 10 of them. Now he needs some offense. Top of the order coming up in a one-run game. The good work of B.J. Upton for the Braves here over the last couple of weeks, and follows a market improvement in 2014, his second year as a Brave.
Yeah, when you look at those season totals last year for 126 games, he's on a real good path to certainly blow right by those and return to some more numbers that he's more accustomed to.
Upton's due second here in the 6th inning. Braves got to find a way to put some runners aboard and make Iwakuma work. He has set down the last 12 in order. The last Brave to reach was Chris Johnson, who singled to start the 2nd inning. Mariners won, Atlanta nothing in game 2. Up the middle and a good start. Jason Hayward has 2 of the Braves' 4 hits today.
I'll be interested to see where this pitch was and what the pitch was, Tommy, because after Jason hit that and it got through, Iwakuma kind of stared at him down the line like, how'd you hit that?
That's down, out of the zone down, but over the plate, and just stayed with it.
Yeah. Good start.
Joe mentioned how good Zunino is at slowing down the running game. Let's see if Atlanta tries to jumpstart the offense with Hayward aboard to start the inning. Hayward stolen 9 bases in 11 tries, and he's got a good lead. And Upton, a bouncing ball to third, fair ball. The throw to second is going to be in time, and Cano, a fine play to handle that sinking throw from Seager. 1 out.
He also had the good sense to get out of the way, with Hayward bearing down on him. Happy to get 1 out and still be upright.
Freddie Freeman has struck out swinging twice today.
You said a few days ago, Chip, that you were kind of, I don't know if alarmed was the right word, but the number of strikeouts for Chris Johnson and how they had really escalated. Well, I'm the same way right now about Freddie Freeman. He is now, with his 2 strikeouts today, struck out 11 times in his last 32 at bats. That's a lot for him.
Yeah, that is not typical for Freddie, for sure.
And what's so perplexing about that is we've bragged, and rightly so, about how well Hayward and Upton have worked and how much more frequently they're on base.
Right.
Yet Freddie Freeman's knocked in 4 runs now in his last 11 games. Tough to do that when you're not making consistent contact. No balls and a strike. Upton's running, and pitch fouled straight back. A run or 2 would be nice here in this 6th inning. Don't want to get deep into that Mariners bullpen. They pitched 6 innings of 2-hit ball last night.
Yeah, they were real good last night.
In fact, the Mariners bullpen comes into play today with a 2.90 ERA. If that holds up, that will be a franchise record best bullpen performance. Stop by Zunino.
Yeah, he's been as advertised back there. He's made a couple of nice blocks on balls in the dirt.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Doug DeCenzo's been a lonely man today. Braves have gotten only 1 man to third base in the game. That was Jason Hayward in the very first inning. Two runner goes, and that was fouled at the plate. Twice in the sequence, Upton will head back to first.
Waffled Zunino's glove on that foul tip. But again, Freddie a little bit late.
Late again. Freeman down on strikes for the 3rd consecutive time today, and 4th time in his last 5 at bats.
.85 miles an hour on that one. He struck out earlier today on an 86 mile an hour fastball.
Here's Upton. Justin singled, and he's grounded out. Freddie Freeman's played in every game for the Braves this year. He may have played in every inning. Can't remember him coming out at any time. Day off for him come at a good time tomorrow. And a little shot toward Bloomquist at first. Retires Justin Upton, and the Braves are out of luck in the 6th inning. They couldn't cash in a leadoff hit. Iwakuma leads by a run as we go to the 7th. Strikeout every game ender and every history-making moment on MLB Whip Around. Weeknights at 10 Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. If you haven't seen MLB Whip Around, it's a baseball-specific show airing weeknights. Quick turnaround highlights with Chris Myers, Frank Thomas, Eric Karros, Gabe Kapler, and C.J. Nitkowski. So hope you'll tune in. On a hot, sunny day in Atlanta, Mike Minor's allowed a run and 5 hits. On most days, that would be enough to lead. That's not the case today. He trails by a run.
Well, it was enough to get him a loss last start. 7 innings, gave up 1 run. The bullpen gave up 3 more, and the final score was 4-3.
Miller, Iwakuma, and Bloomquist up for the Mariners. And Brad behind now, a ball and 2 strikes. Minor has struck out 10 today. His career high is 12 in August of 2010 at Wrigley Field against the Cubs. Remember that game well.
I do too.
It was in the stage of Mike's career where you'd get a good start, an okay start, a real clinker. You just didn't really know in which direction Mike's major league career was headed.
The clinkers were usually associated with a lot of long balls too early in the game. And as we've said before, at that particular time, he never seemed to be able to recover from it confidence wise within the game. He then got real careful, would walk some guys, leading to more problems.
And he walks Miller. Another leadoff walk for Mike. First one came in the 5th, this one in the 7th. And now the pitcher has a chance to bunt.
Well, because he doesn't get to hit, you would expect the Braves to be right on top of him.
Yep, be aggressive. Try and get that out at second base if at all possible.
There's the bunt. Deadened nicely.
Gotta get 3.
And just in case Miller thought about streaking around second, both Gaddis and Simmons were headed down their respective lines of sight to cover third base. But it's sacrifice. Miller at second, 1 out.
Excellent bunt. I mean, that had a little 60-degree lob wedge bite on it.
Yeah, for a guy that doesn't bat a whole lot, he made that look pretty easy. Good form. Just boop, play catch. Nice little bat flip.
Good bat toss.
So an RBI shot for Bloomquist, who's 0 for 2. He drew the first walk from Minor. That was an intentional pass back in the 3rd inning. Didn't mean to. That'll cost him a strike.
Braves have some activity in their bullpen. Avilan and Shea Simmons.
Oh, and 2 with 1 on, 1 out. in the air. Behind second, long run, La Stella. Hayward gets there and makes the grab. And Bloomquist pops out. Similar play to the one we saw at Fenway Park when B.J. Upton and La Stella couldn't catch a pop-up. That time, Hayward took over for the second out of the inning.
Some of this has to do with having to play right field at Fenway Park and being so far away from everybody. Not knowing how deep to play.
That was a big out in the management of this inning, too. You got a chance to get out of this thing now without having to face Cano.
Chavez pulled the ball twice to first. And he was out of the batter's box on a bunt try last time up, so he's 0 for 3.
I'm not sure we ever finished that chat about him because of that bunt, but a good teammate.
Yeah, real good teammate, and kind of the prototypical fourth outfielder that you want. You know, good defensive guy. Good job of coming off the bench as a pinch hitter, and certainly does a good job of either giving guys a rest or filling in when guys are injured.
Bouncing ball deflected off Minor's glove to Simmons. Lucky bounce. Bad break for Chavez. Atlanta will take it. Minor pitches around a leadoff walk. We head to the 7th inning stretch. Evan Gattis, El Oso Blanco lies in wait. He's got a chance to tie it up when we come back to Atlanta. Now he needs some help offensively as we head to the home 7th. He's down a single run, but has earned our great clips of the game.
Yeah, he's pitched a good ball game. 10 strikeouts. Here's a sampling of some of them. Done a nice job establishing his fastball, pitching off of that, mixing in the breaking ball. Fastball strikeouts on both sides of the plate for lefties and righties, and you know, really pitched the kind of ball game you want to see him pitch, and coming off the heels of the good ball game he had in Boston. Now he just needs a little help from his mates.
109 pitches for Minor. We'll see Gattis, Chris Johnson, and Tommy La Stella get after Iwakuma. And Gattis tried to tie it with that swing. Didn't get it. Strike one.
Well, I'd like to see Evan just think off speed here. Hold it back. Just look for something off speed, because they're not going to give in to him unless it's really a bad pitch or a bad mistake.
And a leadoff single. Gattis pokes one into left field.
Nice adjustment. 80-mile-an-hour pitch might have been a split finger.
So Gattis is hit safely in 7 straight games now.
Slider.
Nice.
Actually, pretty good pitch. I think that's one of those ones as a pitcher, you just kind of got to tip your hat.
A leadoff single last inning and couldn't do anything with it. See if the Braves can parlay it into at least a tie here.
One nothing Seattle. Gaddis at first. And a double play ball out to Cano. There's one. And there's two. Taylor made for Cano, Miller, and Bloomquist. And the bases are empty for La Stella. Tommy's 0 for 2. It'll be interesting to see how far Iwakuma works in the game today. His season high in pitches is 99. And the most innings he's pitched is 8. His 93rd pitch comes with 2 outs in the Atlanta 7th. And it's a shot under the glove of Cano and into right center field. La Stella's aboard with a 2-out hit.
Double play looms large now after that hit. This ball was smoked. It was actually hooking back to Cano a little bit. But still got past him.
Anderson looks for his first hit. Swings at the first again and skies it out of play, foul. Last year Iwakuma led the majors and set a Mariners record with 10 starts in which he pitched at least 6 innings and did not allow an earned run.
That'll help you win 14.
Same story in Atlanta today. No balls and a strike. And golf foul at third. It's quickly 0-2.
Kind of says to me too, not taking 14 lightly, but that there might have been a lot of starts where he had to come out of the game without having given up a run and got a no decision too.
13 no decisions last year. 13 of them.
Yeah, and there was a bunch where I think he came out with the lead and 4 times had the lead and the bullpen blew it for him.
So even with a 14-win season, he was a whole lot better than that record for the Mariners. He's been tough today. Scattered 6 hits.
That's why he got a lot of votes. 14-game winner, and he's 3rd in the Cy Young voting. Well, I hope he gets a no decision today. At least.
Outfield deep for Simmons and an 0-2 pitch. He is grounded toward third. Seager's got it. The flip to second in time. And Iwakuma pitches around another leadoff hit. He's through 7 with a shutout and a 1-0 lead. Off day for the Braves tomorrow. We'll travel out to the desert Southwest and take our first look at a real disappointing ball club this year. The Arizona Diamondbacks have really struggled in the first 2 months of the season. And here is your probable pitching matchup Friday night.
They are entering play tonight 14 games back in the West, and they are just 9-22 at home. Brandon McCarthy, part of that, certainly, with his record in ERA to this point. And the Braves will have their ace on the mound in Julio Teheran to hopefully get the road trip started in a good way.
Well, Mike Minor's day, Tommy, is done. 10 strikeouts over his 7 innings. He turns things over to the Braves bullpen, which has to hold the Mariners right here.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more out of Mike, and now he turns it over to the bullpen. Luis Avilan on for his 30th time and pitching well of late, so keep it here and take a couple more cracks at it offensively.
First pitch swing by Cano, a bouncing ball to short, and Simmons gets his man. There's out number 1.
Luis had one of his best outings of the year last night. He came in the 6th inning with runners on base. The first 2 batters reached with singles. He came in 2 on, nobody out. There was a sacrifice bunt to move him into scoring position, and then he walked a pinch hitter to load the bases, struck out Saunders, and got Cano to ground out, just as he did there to get out of the inning with no runs.
And at first blush, you have to have your eyebrows raised, or in my case, eyebrow, when you see Avilan 2 months into the season with 30 appearances. However, he's only pitched 19 1/3 innings. Line drive by Romero. That's headed for the gap in right center, and that's real trouble. Romero's on his way to second. He's going to make it to third base with a 1-out triple. So a 3-run homer yesterday, and now Romero with a 3-base hit, part of a 2-hit day today, and that's a big run 90 feet away.
And it was just perfectly placed. A little inside out swing, and then had enough on it to roll it all the way to the wall.
Yeah, I think that was one where they crossed up their defense a little bit.
So a pinch runner is in for Romero. And it's James Jones, the speedster. Started in center field last night. Let's see if Lloyd McClendon thinks about a squeeze play here. Nope. Base hit to right. It's 2-0. So a triple and a single extends the Seattle lead. And 37 RBIs for Seager. Infield in helped his cause. And that'll be the end of the line for Luis Avilan, who pitches a 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, a run. So Freddie goes deeper into the Atlanta bullpen. The Mariners try to sweep the Atlanta portion of this series. They're up 2 in the 8th. Back to Turner Field in a moment.
excuse me. And now, as promised earlier in the game, we have the AT fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo, hashtag #SouthFanPhoto, for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
It's a good-looking crowd outside the stadium.
Yeah.
Well, the home debut for Shea Simmons now. Young flamethrower just up from the minors. And he's facing off with Mike Zunino, the Seattle catcher. He struck out the first big league hitter he faced, Jared Saltalamacchia, retired him on 3 pitches. Picked up his first save the other day against Miami as well. And he'll try to shut down Seattle in the 8th and keep it at 2-0.
He has a really hard breaking ball, Tom.
Well, it's a good compliment to that 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Simmons came up in a time of need for the Braves. David Carpenter's run into a bit of bad luck. Some blue pits, some big innings have cost David in the last week and a half. But you can't overestimate the loss of Jordan Walden with a bad hamstring. He was a very effective guy against lefties and righties in the bullpen, and he's getting closer to return, but still having some leg issues. Hoped he could be back by the time the Braves get to Colorado to play the Rockies. We'll see if that's still in play.
Man, it's such a luxury when you have that guy in your bullpen, particularly late, that you don't have to play the matchups with, that you're equally confident lefty, righty. Just makes managing that whole back end of the game so much easier.
Triple and a single with 1 out in the Mariners' 8th. And Zunino bounced that ball off his foot, I think. It's foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Something went flying. I thought it was part of the bat, but it's like maybe his thumb guard.
Yeah, the thumb pillow.
Oh, what a great shot. Did you see the vibration of the bat in the hand?
Yeah, he's still feeling that.
It's bad when you're wearing that thing on your thumb because you got jammed in the first place, and then you swing and have it fly off because you got jammed so bad again.
And your hand was shaking so bad.
A swing and a miss at 95 miles an hour. Zunino's retired. And Simmons has his first strikeout at Turner Field. 2 out.
A little drop and drive in him.
Cole Gillespie has 2 hits. He drove in the game's first run in the 4th inning. Braves will go to the bench in their half of the frame. Then Hayward, then B.J. Upton. That's low. 1 ball, no strikes. There's the strike. It's 2-1.
Good pitch to run on here. He heads up on Seager.
Not going, and that paints corner. Simmons opened eyes this spring with terrific work. and terrific attitude. And here he is out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, a 22nd round pick.
I'll say this, he was brought in a tough spot his first outing, struck out the only batter he faced, got to save his next time out. His composure's been very good in some touchy situations already.
And he just struck out Gillespie at the knees. Back-to-back strikeouts for Shea Simmons in his home debut. Seattle, those strikes for a big second run. Inning. 9-1-2 on the lineup card for Atlanta as Iwakuma's day has come to a close. 7 innings of shutout baseball. Before we tell you who the new Mariners pitcher is, since 2012 Iwakuma's ERA is second lowest in the American League with a minimum of 300 innings pitched. Can you name who's first?
I'm going to stick with my first reaction, which was Chris Sale.
I had Darvish, Anibal Sanchez, Verlander, a couple other guys I thought of, but I'm going with my first, Darvish.
Sanchez had a 17 strikeout game against the Braves, I think that was, or was that in Alaska? It was Sanchez. Yeah, I'm going to go Sanchez. I think Anibal Sanchez is the answer.
Wow. Take that, Gretchen.
Yeah. Way to go.
2.85. Anibal Sanchez. So the Mariners go to Yoervis Medina out of Puerto Cabello.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. He's out of Venezuela, guys. 25-year-old right-hander, 6'3", 245.
And another guy averaging a strikeout per inning pitched, 92 to 96 fastball with a slider.
Puerto Cabello, Venezuela. Non-drafted free agent in 2005. And Ryan Domit is the first man to greet him. We are in inning number 8. Iwakuma was as tough as advertised today. 7 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts.
Yeah, not fun from a result standpoint for Braves hitters, Braves fans, but fun to watch pitch. I mean, that was pitching.
Yeah, it was. Outstanding.
Sorry, Joe. James Jones in center field for Seattle, and 2 quick strikes. And off the plate.
Chavez moved to right. Top of the order's up next. And Domit doesn't have a point of reference with Iwakuma since he didn't face him, but with all due respect to Medina, I bet these guys are saying, okay, bring it on, bring me the 95. The other guy mixing and changing speeds was too much.
Two balls, two strikes. Braves pinch hitters this year, 13 hits and 63 at bats. Domit 7 for 25. Now a mound meeting. All the other baseball later on today. We will pay close attention tonight to the Marlins. They're in Tampa Bay tonight. Miami starts play a game and a half behind the Braves in the East. Washington is hosting the Phillies later on. Ryan Zimmerman had a couple of hits and played left field for them last night. They were 7-0 winners over Ryan Sandberg's slumping Phillies. Foul.
Was there something? Did Larry Boa call out the Phillies a little bit? I think there was something from him saying this is not Major League Baseball.
They are 9-8. They were 9-18 since May the 4th. And hard to believe, Joe, but that Phillies offense with all those big names, they've been shut out 8 times in the first 2 months. It has been a struggle for sure for the Phils. But also without Cliff Lee. Now Domit's working a good at bat. He's run the count full after 2 quick strikes. Breaking ball got Domit. Nasty pitch. And Ryan is down on strikes. 1 away in the Atlanta 8th.
Pretty good 3-2 pitch.
Yeah, he couldn't locate that pitch when he was ahead in the count, but you get the 3-2 and hitter will just expand his zone a little bit more with 3-2 and threw that one at the back foot again.
Jason Hayward has 13 hits in his last 37 at bats. And he has a 9-game hitting streak that he'll take into play Friday night in Phoenix. And no swing, 1 ball, no strikes. Outside. 2-1. Braves drew nearly 27,000 fans for this business fan special. 26,960 the official paid crowd. 2 balls and a strike. Base is empty for Hayward. And that missed. 3-1.
Different kind of necklace he's wearing. Tucking it in now. So since I mentioned it, we won't be able to see it. Almost looks like a string of pearls. Huh.
To first, Bloomquist smothered and steps on the bag at first. We've had a couple of plays like that at the first base bag. One by Freeman, one by Bloomquist. And Hayward is out number 2.
Well, he's a middle infielder by trade, so it's not like he was going to panic on an in-between hop.
B.J. Upton 0 for 3. Little pop out towards second, and right behind the second base bag, Robbie Cano puts that away, and the Braves are out of luck in the 8th. We head to the 9th. By a score of 2-0. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 great years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game streamed live online or on the go in true HD. MLB.TV Premium includes a free At-Bat 14 subscription, which allows you to watch live baseball on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, log on to Braves.com.
Dave Carpenter's 28th appearance of the year. So he and Luis Avilan getting a lot of work. But as you said, Chip, they're trying to measure their innings a little bit, some partial innings along the way in those outings.
Rough patch for David the last couple of times out. 4 runs over his last 1/3 of an inning. That includes the blown save in Boston. And 2 runs, 3 hits without retiring a batter on May 31st at Miami. In fairness to David, all those runs and hits weren't rockets. He had a couple of bloop hits, cost him some big runs against the Red Sox.
Well, it was just a string of them, too.
The blown save he suffered against Boston on May 29th. That was the horrible defensive 8th inning where both Upton brothers made errors. The Braves couldn't hold a 3-1 lead. Lost that game 4-3 at Fenway Park. Miller is called out on an appeal. He doesn't run to first, and Evan Gattis will jog over and tag him in the left-hand batter's box. Thank you very much. 1 out.
To the credit of Marty Foster, the home plate umpire, he asked for help on this right away so that both Miller and the Braves had a chance to do something about it if the batter was called for the swing. And Paul Schreiber rang him up.
So Miller has struck out for the 3rd time today. And Medina will be pinch hit for with Justin Smoke. Mentioned earlier, this is a Seattle team managed by Lloyd McClendon. He played for Jim Leyland. He coached under Jim Leyland. He's managing today like Jim Leyland. Getaway day. Chance to get some of his bench players 3-4 at bats in a ball game. And they've responded with 2 runs, 7 hits. Shallow center. B.J. Upton comes in and makes the play to retire Smoke. And that's out number 2.
Talking about the bullpen use by the Braves, only one team in Major League Baseball has used their bullpen less than the Braves, and that's the Reds.
So that's a testament to the excellent starting pitching the Braves put together. And they got more of it today from Mike Minor, who gave up a run, 5 hits in 7 innings. The Braves haven't done anything with Seattle yet. No runs, 6 hits for the Braves, and Bloomquist bats with 2 outs.
Ball's coming out of David's hand. Nice. 97 on that one.
Yeah, you just got to stay the course. You're going to run into those stretches where things just don't go the way you want them to.
Deep, short, and through for Bloomquist. So he's 1 for 4 in the game. Endy Chavez will hit with 2 outs.
Well, it just seems like lately, and a lot of it had to do with Boston and their approach to hitting and everything, but Braves pitchers have had base runners on every inning. Last night they had 2 1-2-3 innings, and one of those was in the 8th. And today Mike Minor's first 2 innings were perfect innings, and they've had 1 since.
Good fastball. Chavez very late. The other thing too, seems like they've gotten off to good starts in innings but haven't been able to finish teams off. They get to 2 outs and then there's a bloop or a walk and then something bad happens. That was the case last night. We talked a lot about the 2 home runs that Seattle hit, and they were important obviously, but it was Dustin Ackley's little infield dribbler to first that kept the inning alive with 2 outs that led to the Buck homer.
Yeah, it's that old saying, inning's not over with 2 outs. Still got one big one left, and
that's out of reach of La Stella. Endy Chavez with another 2-out hit. Back-to-back singles for Seattle. And now you've got to face Robbie Cano, the Mariners' best hitter.
Just what we were talking about.
So Cano a chance to really make it tough on the Braves with a hit here. Gaddis also has to be ready for something in the dirt. Bloomquist 90 feet away. 1 ball, no strikes. Jones on deck. Braves would prefer to see him when we're in Seattle.
I was just, before I even saw that graphic, I was thinking about how aggressive Cano's been in the first pitch of each at bat, it seems like. But now the runners in scoring position and 2 out, he really looked like he was taking all the way on that.
Yeah, he really did. He looked like he was, because that was a pretty good pitch.
And you saw that he's hitting .385 in this situation, and it may say that he's way more patient when he gets these opportunities.
Two and 0. The Mariners were looking for some star power in their lineup, a veteran major league hitter to anchor the young everyday players that they've assembled. It's given them a lot of bang for the buck. There are a lot of bucks involved. A 10-year, $240 million contract that opened up eyes all across the baseball landscape. And Cano and the Mariners, 2 games over 500, just 6 games out of first place. And on the verge of sweeping the Braves here in Atlanta. 2-1 pitch. Now 3 balls and a strike, and Carpenter wants a new ball.
Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to walk him.
Yeah, no, you got to be smart here. You can't. Certainly don't want to lay one in there and at the expense of not walking him. If you walk him, so what? Take your chances with Jones. He's going to get ahead, make him hit your pitch.
Line to third. The Braves shifted for Cano.
He just moved there.
That's pitching to your defense.
Yeah.
Love it.
The shift pays big dividends. Otherwise, that would have been a 2-run scoring hit for Cano. As it stands now, though, Seattle's lead is 2-0. You're right. With the pitch, Johnson moved to his left and robbed Robinson Cano. Seattle leads the Braves 2-0. And fans, we invite you to get a field view seat in the 100 level for just $25 with the Braves Steal of the Week. You can check out Freddie Freeman and the Braves as they take on Mike Trout, Josh Hamilton, who's back active, and Albert Pujols with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And you can save up to 40% off your ticket price. Log on to Braves.com/steal and get those tickets now. Well, here's that man again, Fernando Rodney. A very long, slow, deliberate stroll out of the visitors' bullpen to the center of the Turner Field diamond today.
Pitched last night, got Braves 1-2-3, but he fell behind Jason Hayward to start the 9th inning, bounced back to strike him out. You know, we found out why he was so late coming out last night. It was believed that he had gone to the restroom, but that was not the case. In fact, he did go to the restroom. He had on the wrong jersey.
Oh.
And he had gone to the restroom to put the right one on before he came out.
Had somebody else's on or the wrong?
No, he just had the wrong color on. Somebody noticed, I think, as he was about to be called in.
So Justin Smoke checks in at first for Seattle here in the 9th. Atlanta's first baseman Freddie Freeman leads off. Tough inning for Rodney, we hope. Freeman, Upton, and Gaddis coming up. Braves need 2 to tie, 3 to win. And high, 1 ball, no strikes. Outer River evens the count. In the air toward left. But that's playable. And caught by Gillespie. First time Freddie's made contact today. A hard hit ball the other way. But he's retired for out number 1 in the 9th.
Just like last night, got to have a base runner to have a chance for somebody to hit one out and tie it. He's only given up 1 run in his last 13 outings.
He's due.
Rodney tied for 2nd in the American League in saves with Glenn Perkins of the Twins. Greg Holland of the Royals has 16. It's the most in the junior circuit. Two balls and a strike.
That's the one he was donning when he was warming up on the left last night. Somebody had to hustle in and get his other one.
Almost looks like their batting practice jersey. As a bouncing ball toward Miller at short. Long throw, close play, and Upton's out. The umpires in the crowd thought he beat it. Freddie Gonzalez may ask for a review of this play. Bang, bang play. The call at first, out.
Yeah, and he didn't even bother to wait for any sign from the dugout because it's that important to get a runner on, and it's the 9th inning. If it doesn't work, you haven't lost much. He's out.
Out. Yep.
Might as well take a chance if you're the Braves manager here. This should be a very quick review, we think.
More definitive here.
Yep.
So the call on the field is upheld. And the Braves are down to their last out. Evan Gaddis will be the hitter. Mentioned a moment ago the Phillies struggles. How many times they've been shut out. Braves don't score a run today. It'll be Atlanta's 7th shutout loss of the year.
One of the things that impresses me about Rodney is how he doesn't even have a leg kick. He just strides to the plate.
That's about as simple as you can get with your mechanics.
And now Gaddis down to his last strike.
That changeup last night was very effective to Jason Hayward for the called third strike, and Gaddis got one there.
Pulled foul at third. Braves are still alive in the ninth. Iwakuma, Medina, and Rodney, the Seattle pitchers.
Ooh. Getting up there in Gaddis land.
That's something else Mike Blowers was talking about when he fouled a mid-90s fastball straight back to the screen. Don't go there.
Nope. He was fortunate to get that one high enough to not incur any damage.
But he gets Gaddis to swing and miss, and the Mariners have swept the Braves and have won their 5th consecutive game. 2-0 is your final score. The Mariners pitching staff held Atlanta scoreless over the last 15 innings of this 2-game series. Very impressive work. 2-0 Seattle, the final score win. Back to Turner Field with more after this.